The 2008 global financial crisis has fueled global protectionism and a surge in regional trade agreements. The HKTDC's Nicholas Kwan caught up with Andrew Sheng, president of the independent think tank Fung Global Institute. The former World Bank official offers his insights on the future of the World Trade Organization.
Andrew, thanks for taking your time. What we're interested to know is about how the world trading system is going to evolve. We know that the Doha round seems to be stagnating or collapsing. And there are a growing number of regional trade agreements. Some of them are pretty exclusive, which means that some other members may not be able to join even if they want to. Under that kind of situation, do you think that the world trade system is going to fall apart or evolve into something very fragmented?
Well, I think you need to take a historical perspective. I think in the last 50 years, certainly since the Second World War, trade has grown spectacularly, and globalization has happened. A lot of it thanks to the WTO. And the WTO is a very, very important set of rules. It is rules-based. It is a transparent system of trading that, of course, it's only confined, largely to physical trade and, a little bit less to the services and investment side. But this rule-based regime has enabled the most glorious period of global trade and prosperity ever. Now, it's totally understandable that the Asian crisis and then the global, financial crisis, which is now nearly 5 years into its running, has shocked people. Trade suffered, dropped for the first time, I think, in 2008, partly due to the collapse of trade finance and the settlement issues. And then, of course, since then, despite the efforts of G20, which all reiterated against protectionism, the proliferation of different types of trading arrangements, etc., like TPP, RCEP, and all the other arrangements, have given people, and then the failure to conclude the Doha rounds have given people exactly the words that you've used. Is it collapsing, etc., etc.? I personally don't think so. I think, like history is never a straight line. My view is that the TPPs and all this is one way of moving forward. It may not necessarily be the most ideal, but there is one thing that you need to recognize. The more complex the rules and regulations, the tougher it is for SMEs to get into the world trade. At the present moment, world trade has grown because it's not just about multinationals, trading through global supply chains. That's been the spectacular growth. But it really is about, particularly in the South-South trade, the SMEs in the South suddenly plugging into the global supply chain, right? And that has happened, number one, basically because of WTO rules, which is multilateral, which means that if I satisfy one set of rules, I can go anywhere, right? I'm free to go through global markets. But the problem is that if I have to satisfy, 6 different TPPs with different rules, I can't afford it, frankly speaking. I won't be able to meet some of these complex standards that are being appearing, and that the whole world will be poorer for it. Okay, and so we need to recognize that sooner or later we all need to sit down together and should agree on the multilateral system and should preserve it. The emerging markets, which have been very major beneficiaries of the multilateral system, should support the multilateral system. It may have some advantage of being in this arrangement or that arrangement, but ultimately the world will be poorer if we just add too many barriers to the system.